SANY's dynamic construction telehandler range covers all heights and sizes and has the versatility and safety expected on today's busy construction sites. SANY telehandlers are built to maximize uptime, and when service needs to be completed, it's fast and easy due to excellent service access to all key components. The purpose of this training video is to help you, the machine operator, understand what daily inspections are required before operating the equipment. Carrying out these checks is your responsibility and plays a key role in keeping you and your colleagues safe on site. A machine that's not maintained regularly can put you and those around you at risk. Performing daily inspections supports site safety and keeps sites moving. This video is intended for general information and guidance only. The aim is to raise safety awareness and improve understanding of daily telehandler pre-start checks. It does not replace or replicate formal, certified training. All details presented in this video are offered as is, with no expressed or implied guarantees, except in situations where SANY is legally unable to limit liability. Always refer to the machine's official operating manual. If you are unsure, stop, call and wait for further assistance. Maintenance should only be performed by individuals who are properly qualified and competent. When performing daily checks, you must wear the appropriate personal protective equipment as required by the site safety regulations. Protective safety footwear. Recommended site workwear with long sleeves. High-vis vest or jacket. Approved hard hats. Safety glasses. Protective gloves whilst checking oils and greasing. Hearing protection as site requires. To ensure your telehandler is safe and operational, the operator must carry out a daily pre-start inspection of the machine. To start the inspection, the area around the machine must be free from other moving machinery and dangers and fully ventilated. Park the machine on safe and level ground. Fully apply the park brake. Remove the ignition key and isolate the battery. This lockout procedure ensures the machine cannot be started or moved without your consent. First, inspect the cabin, check that all the glass, mirrors, doors, and steps are not damaged and are operational. Ensure the fuel cap is locked. At the front of the cabin, check the brake fluid level is correct. If there is a need to top up the brake fluid, contact your hire company or dealer to check the system for leaks. The washer fluid cap is at the front of the cabin. Top up the reservoir as required and close the cap. As telehandlers lift and carry loads, the wheels and tires are critically important to machine stability and overall safety. Use a tire pressure gauge to check that all tires are inflated to the correct pressure. These pressures can be found on the information screen inside the cabin. Ensure the wheel nuts are secure. Inspect each tire for any damaged sidewalls, including distortion, and look for cuts, punctures, or any foreign objects lodged in the tread. Don't forget to examine the inner sidewall as well. Report any faults or defects immediately to your site manager or hire company. If your machine is equipped with stabilizer legs, make sure the hydraulic hoses are undamaged and the pivot pins are firmly in place. Stabilizer legs help improve the machine's stability, making it possible to lift safely to height. Next, inspect the boom. Ensure all the hoses and pipework are free from damage and there are no visible leaks. If used, check auxiliary adapters and hoses on the boom nose end. The carriage is the primary working tool of your telehandler, and it's essential that it is kept in proper working condition. Ensure the fork bar locking handles operate correctly. These are vital for keeping the fork bar locked in place and preventing the forks from detaching. Inspect the carriage locking bars as they secure the attachments to the carriage. Check the forks carefully for any signs of wear, damage, or defects. Report any defects identified during this inspection. Carrying on around the machine, check the offside stabilizer and, if fitted, the chassis leveling cylinder and hoses. Check components such as the lights, mirrors, and engine cover for damage. Confirm there are no oil leaks on or beneath the machine. Leaks may appear on the ground, but it's important to also inspect the underside and ensure the belly guards are intact and undamaged. Any damaged parts must be reported and repaired without delay. Working to the rear of the machine, check the lights and rear camera. Check again under the machine for leaks. Once you're happy with the machine visual inspection, the next stage is checking fluid levels in the engine bay. To start the engine bay checks and inspection, the surrounding area must be free from other moving machinery and dangers and fully ventilated. Park the machine on safe and level ground. Fully apply the park brake. Remove the ignition key and isolate the battery. This lockout procedure ensures the machine cannot be started or moved without your consent. All machine fluid levels must be inspected each morning before the machine is started. Details of the correct fluid specifications can be found in the operator's manual. Sites should have the appropriate oils and coolant available to ensure levels are maintained as required. When checking or topping up fluids, always wear the required personal protective equipment. Use a clean rag or paper towel for the engine oil check. Open the engine cover and inspect the engine bay and cooling pack, checking for any visible leaks or damage. Check the cooling pack fins are clean. The air filter inlet needs to be checked for any debris. To do this, unclip the cover, shake out any dirt and re-secure fully. The main air filter elements are checked weekly or every 50 hours. Locate the red engine oil dipstick, located to the rear of the radiator fan protective grille. Remove the dipstick cleaning off the oil. Refit, pushing fully home, and remove to read the level. Top up if required using the yellow filler cap. Always refer to the operator's manual for the correct fluids and volumes. The coolant expansion tank has a sight glass to see the fluid. Ensure the coolant level is visible in the middle of the sight glass. If topping up, ensure the system is cool and any pressure is released slowly. Always refer to the operator's manual for correct fluids and volumes. Any spills should be cleaned up immediately, and all waste must be disposed of in accordance with site procedures. When the engine bay checks are completed, close and lock the cover. To check the hydraulic oil on the STH 1440 and 1840 models, keep the stabilizers fully raised and lift the boom until it reaches the lockout position. On the smaller STH 625, 742 and 936 models, the hydraulic oil level must be checked with the boom fully lowered. Depending on the model, the hydraulic oil sight glass is located to the offside rear or rear chassis. Visually check the sight glass. The oil level must be within the upper 3/4 of the gauge. If the hydraulic oil needs to be topped up, remove the rear chassis lower cover and top up using the filler cap. For smaller models, open the rear chassis cover. When removing the filler cap, carefully release any pressure and always refer to the operator's manual for correct fluids and volumes. Now the visual inspections and fluid checks are completed, the next stage is to check the machine operation from the cabin. To operate the machine, the battery needs to be turned back on. Entering the cabin, check the seat and seatbelt are free from damage and fully operational. Check and fasten the seatbelts. Next, adjust, set and secure the steering column. Now turn the ignition key to the first position and allow the screen to turn on. If your machine's immobilizer is activated, you will see a padlock on the screen. Press this to open the keypad. Type in the code and press enter. The padlock will open and the machine is unlocked and ready to start. To start the telehandler, the operator must be seated with the gear lever and joystick FNR switch in the neutral position. To start the engine, turn the ignition key to the right. Now with the engine running, check the warning page for active errors. Any active codes will display on the main screen with number and description, and a red triangle will display on the center console. Enter the error code screen, which has a detailed list. Error codes will also be sent via the EVI telematics. Checking the brakes is required on the pre-start checks. First check the brake pedal has pressure. Press to check the pedal is firm and then apply a further press and hold to confirm pressure is being held. The park brake automatically engaged when the engine was last turned off. To release the park brake, the button in the cabin needs to be pressed. The brake can only be released with the operator sat in the seat. Telehandler steering modes need to be tested daily. SANY telehandlers have an electronic steering changeover, which will automatically realign the system by changing the modes. To test the steering, check all around the machine is safe to operate and the wheels have room to turn. Using the steering mode selection button on the keypad, press this once and turn the wheel past the central axis. This will be indicated on the screen at the top. Green icons will appear as the axles pass the center and the steering mode will automatically change. The steering mode icon will indicate the selected change. Test all three modes until you are back to the steering mode you require. All lights need to be tested. Use a colleague to help check all road and working lights are operational. First, check the green seatbelt beacon, which will turn on when the seatbelt is in use. Next, the amber warning beacon, followed by the road lights, side lights, headlights, and main beam. Left indicator, right indicator, and hazard warning lights. Front cabin working lights and boom working lights. Next, repeat with the rear lights, side lights, brake lights, hazards, right-hand indicator, left-hand indicator, reversing light and alarm, and lastly, the rear cabin working lights. If your model has chassis leveling, test this function in both directions. Ensuring the boom is under 15 degrees, use the rocker switch in the cabin. Use the gauge in cabin to return the machine to the level position. For models with stabilizers, test both sides simultaneously. Lower them fully to the ground using the levers in the cabin. This tests the sensors are pressurized. You will see two green icons at top of the screen which indicates these are operational. Leave both stabilizers lowered while testing the boom functions. To test all the boom functions are working and there are no error codes on screen, ensure the machine is in a controlled area with no pedestrians within the machine's area of operation. Lift the boom to its full height and under control, lower the boom down to the horizontal position. With the boom horizontal to the ground, extend the boom all the way out. Next, retract the boom back in fully. Because of its hydraulic dampening, the boom will slow before fully retracting. To test the tilt functions, lift the boom so the forks will clear the ground, then fully tilt the carriage forward. Now rotate the carriage back, tilting the forks up while checking the operation. Lastly, operate any hydraulic attachment fitted on the auxiliary circuit. Here hydraulic fork positioners are fitted. Test the forks are moving freely and are undamaged with no leaks. With the boom functions tested, all daily checks are completed. Return the boom to the ground and lift the stabilizers. Remember to report any defects to your site manager or the hire company. If it's safety related, stop, call and wait for advice. Construction sites are fast-paced and demanding environments. SANY telehandlers are engineered to help you carry out tasks safely, efficiently and easily. This video is intended to support you, the operator, in keeping your machine productive, well-maintained, safe and ready for work. Always remember that completing daily checks is the operator's responsibility. If you identify any faults or concerns, report them immediately. Should you be unsure about any checks or operating procedures, consult the operator's manual or contact your SANY dealer or equipment provider for guidance.